Is your heat pump not turning on? I want to go through in this video some reasons why your heat pump only may not be turning on and some things maybe you might be able to look at as the consumer, the owner of that system before having to call a professional. You may actually find out that the system is working normally, believe it or not. So let's dive into this. Why would that system not be turning on? And I will say that in most cases in this video, we're talking about the outdoor unit only, a heat pump only, maybe an AC, maybe, but the indoor unit seems to be blowing, the thermostat seems to be working fine, and it's only the outdoor unit. That's the question I've been getting a lot lately, and I thought I would cover that in this video. So first, let's talk about what we call dual fuel systems. There's people out there using verbiage like hybrid. A dual fuel system in most cases in residential heating and air, all they're saying, or all we are saying, basically, usually, is that it's a heat pump outdoor unit, so not a straight AC, it's a heat pump that can blow warm air in the winter, especially on mild days, and then it has a backup form of heat like a furnace, or in some cases with the older technology, you might have, say, like an oil furnace, something like that. But essentially, most dual fuel systems, we're basically saying I've got an electric outdoor heat pump, and then I've got some sort of fossil fuel burning appliance, furnace, as my second stage heat. And the reason that's important is the whole setup is a little different than if you were to say have a heat pump with an air handler. The whole setup is different. The coil with the backup heat source in line with it. A lot of times with the furnaces, the heat exchanger is going to be before the coil, and that's all important because of in the operation of that system, it may be locking out that outdoor unit. That is normal. You actually want it to be locked out. When that heat exchanger gets hot and it starts blowing warm air through that system, you don't want that heat pump trying to run because your head pressure is going to be through the roof. And so what they do when they install dual fuel systems is they'll install them in a manner to where it will lock out that outdoor unit. These days, the thermostat usually controls all of that. Years ago, we used to have these things called dual fuel kits. And a dual fuel kit essentially was this whole separate entity that you would add to the system, and it would be incorporated into the low voltage wiring. But essentially, whether it's a dual fuel kit or whether it's a thermostat or whatever's controlling it, it will have an outdoor temperature sensor sensing what is that outdoor temperature. It's saying, hey, it's above a certain temperature. In a lot of cases, we call it the balance point. It's above that. I can run the outdoor unit, try to save some money here, not burn gas. And then if it drops below that temperature, it will lock that outdoor unit out and then burn fuel. It will burn gas. So if you have a dual fuel system, maybe you just bought this house. You don't even know what the setup is. You just know I bought this house and now the outdoor unit doesn't seem to be working. I had a guy just message me the other day and he said, well, I've got warm air come out of my vents, but the outdoor unit doesn't seem to be working. Chances are he may have a dual fuel system. I don't know. I'm not his heating and air tech. So if you've got a dual fuel system, if you know that you have gas burning in that house, you've got a furnace of some type, and that outdoor unit's not turning on, it's possible you've now gotten below that temperature that it's going to lock out at, and that's okay. For more information about balance point and whether or not that temperature is set correctly, check out my video that I did on balance point, because not all houses are the same. Number two, another reason that outdoor unit may not be turning on, and you may say, well, Josh, I don't even have a dual fuel system. Whether you do or you don't, there are times when that outdoor unit may not appear to be running because it's actually in what we call defrost mode. Now, defrost mode is meant to be temporary. It's meant to go into defrost mode so that way, if you remember in the old days, and I'm about to date myself a little bit, but folks younger than me may not have ever even seen these, but in the old days, we used to have refrigerators or freezers that would get so iced up that once a month or so, you would have to take a hairdryer and thaw everything out. You would have to get in there and shut everything off, pull all the food out of it, and get in there with a hairdryer and thaw everything out. These days, instead of having to do that, systems that are heat pumps or even refrigerators have what we call a defrost mode. And essentially, periodically, it will go into defrost mode, shut that outdoor unit off. It will run backwards. It'll actually internally run in air conditioning mode for a short amount of time to thaw out that ice that can start to build up. So if you have a system that is making some crazy noises, sounds like it's air brakes on a 18-wheel tractor trailer, and then the system shuts off for a bit, that is defrost mode, and it's actually normal. So I have folks all the time that'll ask me, hey, I've got a little frost on my heat pump. Frost is probably normal. I'm not going to lose sleep over a little bit of frost. I'm going to get concerned if that system becomes a block of ice and completely iced over, because then I know it's not probably going into defrost mode the way it should. Or there's an other underlying issue. I wanted to take a quick break and tell you about something I'm doing outside of educating folks on our YouTube channel. If you're a service professional of any type, you don't have to be an HVAC, I want to invite you to check out our growth groups at newhvacguide.com. They are full of other pros like you that are wanting to grow. You can share strategies, overcome challenges, and unlock your full potential with the supportive community of your peers. Learn from industry experts and proven business tactics tailored specifically for service businesses.
The amount of information that I've gotten out of this has been unparalleled value. And I've learned so much from the other guys in the group, what to do, sometimes what not to do. It's helped inspire me. I'm really looking forward to what the future holds with it as my company grows and I grow as a person on this call.
Check out the description or the chat for the link. See you soon. Number 3, you could have a high voltage issue. You may be a breaker tripped or some other high voltage issue that outdoor unit is not turning on. Everything else is turning on okay, but maybe that outdoor unit's not getting the power it should. And if it is just a simple breaker, then in some cases, the homeowner might be able to take care of that themselves. There could be an underlying issue. You might need to get a pro in there. But if that breaker is in the off position, if it's tripped, there's usually one of the things that the guy I learned under would always say that breakers don't just trip, and there may be a reason for that, and it's going to trip again. It's time to get in front of that. Point being, if that outdoor unit's not running, it could be a high voltage issue. Another thing that could be affecting it is a low voltage problem, and one of those things being a float switch. And a lot of today's systems, especially those dual fuel systems we were just talking about, if it's a dual fuel system and a high efficiency furnace that actually has water draining back to it, and it's got to have drains that go somewhere that drain out, or have a condensate pump, whatever the setup is, a lot of those setups will have float switches on them. And believe it or not, a lot of installers, it's an old antiquated way of doing it, but a lot of installers, when they install their wiring, their low voltage wiring, they will wire the float switches only to stop the outdoor unit. And that's something that we used to see years ago. I don't really see it as much these days. Most guys want that system that if there's a problem, it kills everything. It's going to shut the entire system down. But there are some installers out there that will wire the low voltage to where if a float switch opens, it only stops the outdoor unit. So if that's going on, if you have, say, a frozen drain, it's so cold outside that that furnace is draining out and it's freezing, or possibly the drain is just starting to clog up as life goes on and build up and algae and whatever else gunk gets in there, drains will start to back up at times if they're not maintained properly, and maybe that's what's killing that outdoor unit. Next, let's talk about error codes real quick. A lot of systems today, we're starting to get to a point where a lot of systems are what they call smart. Unlike me, they're real smart thermostats, smart systems. One of the brands that we always installed at our company was Daikin. Daikin has some really cool technologies. They've got some thermostats that will give you an error if there's a problem with that system. And if you are in some sort of error mode, it's going to at times stop the system. Now, depending on what that error is, depending on what the problem is, depending on what type of system you have, it may be just stopping the outdoor unit. I would say that that's probably a little less common, but if you've got some sort of message that's popped up on your thermostat, I know with our Daikin units, it would say, hey, it's time to call your professional. You've got an issue here. Again, some of those errors, it would still continue to let that system run. It's just saying to you, hey, I've got a small problem here that could become a big problem. It's time to go ahead and call your pro. So just realize that some systems, it may just be stopping maybe just that outdoor unit, maybe continuing to let that system run in some fashion, but there is a problem. Please note that Daikin has sponsored some of our content on our YouTube channel, and the FTC requires that I say so. And we're going to cover a couple more small minor things in just a moment, but I just want to say, if it's not one of these smaller issues, in a lot of cases, I would go ahead and call a pro. I know you may have found this video or a number of other videos on the internet because you're just trying to get this thing straight yourself. Maybe you're more of a DIY type person, or maybe your pro can't get to you right away, so you're just kind of looking at things. But whatever the case is, I would say that we see a lot of homeowners, especially with these DIY systems that are out there. I just had a guy just the other day tell me a story about how he had one of these DIY systems you can get today, and he actually called the company for help. He tried to do a few things. He had gone on a Facebook group where they had given him some advice, and he ended up doing more harm than good. And had he called a pro in there, he may have actually saved himself a ton of money. But the last thing I'll say, just to wrap up, I know we talked about some things like breakers. Another little small common one I'll just kind of throw out there if you're still here watching my fat face, and that is, believe it or not, there are some thermostats that if they have batteries in them, they'll do wonky things if those batteries start to get low. And I have pushback all the time from guys. They'll comment on these videos and they'll say, no way, you know, thermostats are supposed to say low battery on them if there's a problem. But usually when they say that, I just know that they're probably still learning, and that's okay. The bottom line is there are thermostats out there as those batteries start to get low. Some of the contacts or relays inside that thermostat, they just act a little wonky. Throwing a fresh pair of batteries in there, all of a sudden that thermostat starts working properly again. And your outdoor unit that's controlled by that thermostat all of a sudden starts working again. So that's it in a nutshell. Did I miss one? I'd love to hear down in the comment section if you know of a way that that outdoor unit is not working. Maybe I missed something. If you like this video, I think you'll like this one even more. It's where I go through 10 ways to extend the life of your HVAC system. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.